Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Coffee Club Podcast, episode 80. Big guest on today. We have Alicia Monson. Alicia, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to get into a little bean shout out to start the show. George, what do we got today?
Today we have from teammate Mario Garcia Romo.
Pronounced Garcia.
Garcia Romo from
Barcelona.
being from Barcelona.
His name, I will just say quickly, I've noticed that when I say his name, I always say his full name, but the only part that I say in a Spanish accent is Garcia. I'll say Mario Garcia Romo.
It's so fun to say.
It is.
We've actually had they've almost been on the last 3 episodes since he got back from Spain. So we're finally having them. I don't have much to say apart from he sent me the link to the shop, Dolly Tour. Should have probably looked up translation for that. What do you reckon that means?
No clue. Any Spaniards out there?
Yeah, but it looks sweet, and
It's in Barcelona.
Yeah, it's in a cool looking bit of Barcelona, and he brought the beans all the way back from that shop. He took Yared. I don't know what Yared had.
Yared just sat there with water.
Maybe
Like
like
chocolate? No, he doesn't like chocolate. Doesn't like chocolate. Doesn't like coffee or chocolate.
Or sparkling. He's not having sparkling water. Doesn't like carbonation.
He doesn't like fun.
He brought his own water bottle.
Yeah, we probably just had some water out of his bottle while he was there. So, thanks, Mario.
Thank you very much for that, Mara. And we have a lot of stuff to talk to Alicia about. Thank you very much for all the questions that we got for her. But first, a couple of little roundup things. We got a lot of people asking to be coached by us. Alicia, I don't know if you listened, but I think it was last week, or maybe the week before, we mentioned that we had a segment idea for coaching people.
Oh.
Well, we had two things. We mentioned we had a segment idea to coach people as a joke, and then we also offered our coaching services for $1,000 a month. And I don't know which one people were referring
I was
to.
exaggerating as a joke.
I'm not sure which one they were referring to.
Yeah, I don't know what people are aligning to with what we said, but if they're agreeing to the terms, $1,000 a month.
A DM counts as an agreement,
Yeah.
I think. So that's a binding contract.
That's actually a written agreement.
Yeah.
that's definitely.
And
right.
so also all cash in hand too.
Of course.
Cash in
So
hand.
We should start that, Alicia. If you had to be coached by someone on the team, was it indefinitely?
Not
What
of
was
you
the
guys,
period?
but just in
I
general.
think just like
Everybody on the
starting
team.
now,
Yeah, starting now, if you had to be coached by someone on the team.
anyone on OSC.
Anybody on OSC, yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, I feel like Joe and Sage are just very organized people, so they would actually just give you all the information. But I would say Joe mostly because I'm distance and Sage is middle distance.
That's a good answer.
That's a great answer.
Joe is definitely an expert on training for the 10K,
Yeah,
5K. So
he'd tell you what to do.
You'd have to buy a sauna though.
George would just say go 5 to 10 miles, whatever you feel like.
What did you feel like today? That's good.
No, I think Joe would align with your training style a lot.
Yeah,
You guys would be out there crushing.
we
my
basically
repeats.
just train the same anyways.
No
so.
risk of not training hard. That's for sure.
So that's a good answer though. And then the other one is it was recently April Fool's, being that it's April 3rd today. Little roundup. We had an idea for our April Fool's prank, which did not come into fruition. I don't know if that's how you say
too
it.
much work.
Too much work. But so I think we save it for next year.
Yeah, I'm not
I
telling
don't think we
anyone
should
about
spoil it.
Yeah, I'm not telling anyone about it.
Did it involve the team or was it?
Involved the team and then certain guests.
It involved
That we would
having
have.
fake guests on the show.
Let's not spoil it.
Let's not spoil it.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll save it for next week. But there
We'll
were
have to write that down.
there were some good April Fool's jokes. Shout out to Tom Wayne, super fan. Well, he's past super fan. Friend.
He's pretty much our friend and colleague.
Close friend.
He's friend and colleague now.
He did it the day before April Fool's, which I think also threw a lot of people off. But
That's the best April Fool's. Then it's it's real April Fool's.
when he was in town, he did a photo shoot with Colin, our photographer, and he pretty much mirrored exactly Josette's announcement pics. And then he did an announcement post, and he went the extra step to also get the Citrus Mag graphic of announcement, and then he also made his own athlete bio on World Athletics, athlete code 42069, I believe, if you want to look him up. Just kidding, it's not real. But yeah, so he did another banger, and he fooled a lot of people again because literally I don't really want to expose people who fell for it. But
You're gonna have to. Come on.
Say
it's
one.
April Fool's.
Maybe don't.
So a couple of easy ones to say is Courtney Wayman followed him and commented on it. And then he also got a follow from, actually who followed him? This is the best one. Santara Tech followed him.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's unreal.
That's the Norwegian coach for anyone who's listening. That's their company. So who we're
Who
working
runs that
with.
Instagram?
It's probably
Probably Adam.
Adam.
Yeah,
I can't see
probably.
Olaf doing it.
Because I think Olaf has a good grip on like who's in the running world,
Yeah.
whereas like Adam's probably seen it and gone, oh, maybe
He's the businessman.
we didn't realize that this athlete was coming in, and they just they followed him on Instagram.
And then a little insight into the team in a look. They tried to, and they, being Dathan and Andrew Wheating, tried to prank us today at training with an April Fool's joke, which I don't think anyone really fell for it.
I don't know. I believed him.
You did? You fell for
I feel
it?
like Jose was pretty.
Yeah,
It was pretty
just
ready.
I was
Apparently, I
Jose
wasn't,
was ready to go.
I wasn't back yet, but apparently Sage was pretty pissed about it.
Yeah, she was like, I'm not doing that. I'm
yeah.
not doing that. But what it was is Dathan, this is also related to Santara Tech, Olaf. He said, because he's taking data on us, he said he handed us out plastic like specimen bags, and he's like, all right, we're going to need you guys tomorrow to turn up with a stool sample from your shit to training so they can analyze it. And yeah, I think we mentioned
It was reasonably convincing just because Olaf is literally doing that.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's doing that with his athletes. I'm not sure if we mentioned that previously or
I
not.
feel like
I
I
think he's starting to do it though. I don't know if he's done it yet.
Basically analyzing their microbiome.
Yeah.
I don't know for
Yeah.
what purpose that is, but
And it's a reason. I mean, not a super
Yeah.
common test, but people do it. Like,
yeah.
It is reasonable, but I could just tell that it was an April Fool's prank. I'm not I
The
just
fact
didn't
that it was
believe
like, come back tomorrow with your poop. Like,
And he just had like these little plastic things. I mean, because I don't know if you guys remember this little nugget of detail, but Olaf said that one of the things that was important is that he had to get the whole poop. He wasn't getting a sample of the
Yeah.
poop. He was getting the whole poop, and Dathan just had like a little scooper to get a little bit. So that's how I saw through it immediately.
Josette was talking about how to do it.
She was
into the method.
She was really breaking it down how we're gonna achieve that. Turn up.
She's
training tomorrow.
definitely figuratively and literally trying to figure out how to break it down.
That would have been the best counter if, say, for example, Yared just immediately grabbed the bag, went into the bathroom, and then hands Andrew Wheating or Dathan a sample. That would have been the best way to
No, but
count.
he felt like there's like a test tube thing, right, with a little like shovel, little spoon thing. But Yara just fills up the whole thing.
Oh God. Okay, apologies for putting that image in your head. Anyone listening?
He walks
but-
out and goes, "Is this enough?" And he like 100% knows that it's an April Fool's, but he's definitely just playing their hand, and then
Oh,
Dathan has
boy.
to like grab it and just go, "Okay, that was a joke."
Oh, that'd be
man,
good.
That would be good.
Honestly, pretty good gag, that one.
Yeah.
It was good, but when I walked in, like I saw Wheating laughing, and I'm like, "Dude, this is not real." Because if it was serious, I just feel like they wouldn't be laughing as much.
Yeah.
So it's easy to tell.
There's a
that-
dead giveaway.
Yeah, the
It's
dead giveaway was that
definitely
they were
like,
like,
yeah.
you could see it in their reaction that they were forcing it too much.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I feel like if we had to do it, Dathan would be like, "Okay, listen up, guys. We're just gonna put it out here now. We're gonna have to get a school sample. Like, team meeting."
He did do
Still
that at
meeting.
first, though.
Oh, he
Yeah,
did?
It was
Oh,
like,
I wasn't there
actually,
for that,
that's
so-
exactly what
That
happened.
is that's exactly how it went.
Well, I wasn't there for that, so I would have believed that if he just goes, "Hey, everybody, look, listen.
I don't want to do this, but I got him.
He didn't let me.
This is way above my pay grade."
I was like on my way out the door, and he's like, "No, we gotta have like a team meeting. You gotta stay for a second." And he's like, "Where's Ollie? Where's Ollie?" It's like, "All right."
I rode 10 miles and he's logged, but he's not here.
Hey, that was a good April Fool's. You fell for that one. You really fell for that one.
That was good.
Yeah, Ollie got the real April Fool's joke today where everyone else had a 5 or 6 mile run, and Ollie had a 10-mile run written down on his schedule. So he went and did it, and then when he got back, Dathan was like, "Oh, I forgot to change your log. You were only meant to go 6 miles."
Classic,
Gotcha.
Classic Phil.
Gotcha. Gotcha, bitch.
You gotta take this more seriously.
So
Yeah, and I walked in and he was just like trying to like explain like why he didn't change. It's like, "Oh, I forgot to, I was like, "This is fine. Like, I don't care. Like, sometimes you run 10 miles after workout and sometimes it's 5. Like,
that's how it goes.
it's how it
You
goes."
were the only person who fell for it before the run.
Well, no,
We're
but
all, like-
everybody else had on their schedule had 5 miles. I was the only one that had 10
Yeah.
miles.
Ollie
And
was
the thing
targeted.
is, like, if it's in my final surge, I'm gonna run it. Like,
Yeah.
Soldier thinking.
That
Well,
was
it's because, like, we've
Dathan's
done-
best takeaway, which is a little bit concerning. Is afterwards he said, Well, it's good to know that no matter what I write there, you'll do it.
No, but the thing is, we've done 10-mile runs after workouts before. Like, Joe and I have done that before, and Yared. Like, it's not different.
We used to have the days
If it was like a
flipped,
double
so,
or something,
yeah.
then I'd ask Dathan, like, hey, is this correct? But because we've done similar stuff like that after a workout, I'm not going to think of anything suspicious with it.
Hey,
Well,
you
now
do-
you get 5 on Friday.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Big
Still
miles for
running.
Raleigh.
Still running in there.
But
Gus can do it for me.
Gus will put in the extra miles. But yeah, credit to the aforementioned for the April Fools bringing
Did World
bringing the
Athletics
heat.
fall for it? Because I did comment to try and cement.
On Tom Wings.
Yeah.
I don't think they did. Honestly,
Damn.
I wasn't on social media very much this April Fools, but I didn't see anything. Normally,
Yeah.
like all the
I
big
saw
ones.
Yeah.
I saw an April Fool's that actually got me.
What was it?
It was the one I sent. I think I sent it to you guys. It was the Bauman one.
What
I
was
actually
it?
got that one.
I don't know
What
what,
was
you're
it?
talking about.
They changed their logo. I thought it was serious.
What was the logo?
It
Was
was
it
like
ridiculous?
an eagle. It wasn't funny though.
I was
That's the
about to say
thing.
that was April Fool's.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I sent it to you. I think you guys
Well,
saw it.
I think you did see. Why was it? Was that a joke?
Well,
What's funny about
I
an
sent it
eagle?
into the group chat, and then I
It
said,
does
hey,
say April Fools
Oh.
where?
on the top of the post now. They must have edited it.
Oh.
So it's about
Is that-
changing.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't. I didn't know, like, because I sent it in, is this an April Fool's? Because I'm just gonna roast Bowel Movement Track Club right now. Speaking of bowel movements, that was a really bad April Fool's.
That is a weird April Fools because it's just
Yeah.
not funny. At
It's
all.
not funny.
It's weird because probably a lot of people think they probably should be changing their marketing.
Like a
because-
rebranding.
because of the previous stuff.
And then also how's that funny?
Yeah, the logo's not funny.
It's just a logo
silly.
of an eagle, which
It's like,
like
a legit. It's
I
like a
could see
legit
it.
logo.
Yeah. That's why I was confused by it. Maybe that's
Yeah,
their whole
right.
like strategy was to try and confuse you so much, but the logo wasn't too crazy.
it's too meta for
It's
us.
too like
Yeah,
yeah.
it's too woke.
I was hoping the logo was going to be like Cooper T and Rich MacArthur's heads.
Dude, that
That would have been really funny if that was
that
like
would
the
have
BTC
been
logo.
really funny.
Yeah, I think you really have to go over the top with something like this.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's just like, well,
Because I actually
the
believed
point?
them. I thought, oh wow, they're changing the logo. Because I thought the Bauman logo was pretty cool, like the lightning bolt and stuff. And then I saw that and I was like,
yeah.
are they actually changing it? But
I think it's because people actually love the Bauman logo.
yeah,
Maybe
it's a
that's
cool logo.
maybe that's why for like true diehard fans, like with the lightning bolt and stuff, people do love that. So, because other comments here, people don't get it. It's like not a fan of the logo, but BTC still rocks. Like no one really got around it. Oh well, nice try.
Well,
At least they tried. They did more than we did.
Hey,
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
got some.
Yeah.
They've got some personality. They've got some character coming out. It's good to see. It's
Did
good to
more
see
than
that
us.
that a Nike team is starting to get a bit of flourish, bit of flowering.
So credit to them.
Credit
Good
to
job,
them.
guys.
Yeah.
Nice try.
Why didn't UTI Track Club do a yeah?
I didn't.
April Fools.
I
They
wasn't
should have
paying
changed their
attention.
name to UTI.
Yeah, that would, if Union did that, I would call them Union from now on because that would have been a huge class move.
Mad
That
respect.
It'd been unreal. Mad respect for that if they did
They had
that.
respect for their admin if they
Yeah.
did that.
Did Citrus Mag have an April Fool's? This is no April Fool's,
Hmm, I've
now.
seen-
Maybe people are too scared to do
yeah,
one.
I feel like there weren't a whole lot of anything.
Did you see anything on
I-
social media, Alicia?
Hardly even. Yeah, I don't know. My parents didn't even send me an April Fool's this year.
What have I done?
I saw another one. I was on the hunt. I saw another one that was a lesser one, which I thought was quite funny. Did you guys see this one?
Well, that's
It's
what I
about
always
Yara.
do. Oh,
The
wait,
triple-
Oh,
the triple
someone said
threshold.
something
can you
about
explain
that,
this to
yeah.
me? Because, should I expose him? Should I expose him?
Jared or
Should I do it?
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. So
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about
Should
either.
I do it? Okay.
Expose
I'll
him.
toss a coin. Yeah, I'm exposing him. I got a random message from Woody Kincaid saying, "What the fuck are you guys doing for training? What's Yared doing?" And then like I hadn't seen it yet, and after he already sent, "Oh, never mind, it was an April Fool's joke." I'm like, "What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What did they say?"
So what happened was they talked about they apparently did an interview with Yared
Yeah.
and Dathan allegedly, and the interview was about why Yared had so much success in indoors, and it's because they linked it all together with Olaf coming in, double threshold stuff. So Dathan,
Wow.
they talk about how Dathan was like going in for triple threshold. You're getting it up right
Yeah.
now. George is just looking at
Titled, Jared Nagus reveals the secret of his success, triple threshold training.
And then right at the end of the article, it looks pretty convincing, and at the end of the article, it says April Fools.
Well, good job to them. I mean,
That's pretty. It looks like a legitimate article.
Credit
like
for,
that they
credit for
would
convincing
write.
Woody.
Apparently, Jake Whiteman is the one that told Yared about it at the Wild Dock after Worlds. That's the way he beat Jakob, was the triple threshold that Jake's doing.
that's like the
And then-
story
Yeah, and
behind
then
it.
Yared's told Dathan, and then Dathan's like, let's implement it in our training, and then Yared is technically doing triple
It's
threshold.
a good backstory. convincing. But I mean, if you like everything Let's Run posts on April 1st is going to be an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, I mean they got Woody at least, so good job to them. Sorry,
Good
Woody.
job, Let's Run.
Sorry, Woody, for exposing you. But yeah, that's April Fool's. Another year down the drain. Dunzo.
It said Bauman Track Club coach Jerry Schumacher was not available for comment, but sources report he is currently experimenting with a system called Infinite Threshold, in which athletes do nothing but threshold training 24 hours a day. That's pretty good.
That's a hilarious line. And also, I like every aspect of that, but even just the first part. Imagine if you just like every single time you write something, you just say, Jerry Schumacher was not available for comment. Like every Instagram post you make, you just throw it at the end. Just because why not? But
That was good. That was maybe the best one.
yeah, good job. I hate to give Let's Run credit, but
Yeah,
good job to them.
on this occasion.
I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah.
They answered. But moving on to slightly more serious stuff, I suppose. Alicia Monson, coming off a massive winter where you broke a couple of American records. I think just looking back at, I mean, I don't know if people realize how young you are still. How old are you?
I'm 24. I'm turning 25 next month, though.
Turning 25, been with the OAC, formerly Wisconsin Badger, shout out. But you came out of college really, really good. But then over the next couple of years, or however long it's been, you gotten really, really fucking good. Looking back at the group beginnings to now, I mean, could you have asked for anything more?
Yeah, I don't think so. We kind of showed up here and said, hey, I'm
gonna try this professional
and
running
then Ollie
figure.
figure.
turns
Find
out
out.
to be like top 5 in the world first year out. So
That was the
everyone's
thing.
got to match that.
It was interesting. I think Alicia can comment on this more, but it was interesting for the team, particularly coming out and obviously having a lot to prove. New brand that doesn't have anything shoe wise or anything like in the market at this point.
Yeah.
And then you have the plan. Steve has mentioned this as well as like countless other people. The plan was before knowing how good we became.
Mm-hmm.
The plan was that to get Alicia and to get Joe on the Olympic team in Paris. That was like the goal, the plan.
Yeah.
The goal and plan wasn't for them to get in the team in Tokyo. It was like a best case scenario
crazy.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a year of training in Boulder with this team, we get 2 Americans on the Olympic team, Alicia Monson the 10,000 and Joe on the 10,000. It's a pretty crazy story actually, because you guys came out of college. You hadn't really, I think you represented the US in cross country.
Yeah, I did for Scotland.
Yeah.
And then I didn't go to World Cross one year. It was all for juniors though.
Yeah,
Like,
so
not
this is your
senior.
first
Yeah,
open
yeah.
senior, and it was the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. And
It's
there
pretty
were,
wild.
5 of us or something?
Yeah.
Total?
5 of us out of 10 on the team.
Morgan
So
kind of.
we claim Morgan, but I'd say Team Boss
Joined the
gets
team.
that credit because Joe Bossard did coach Morgan for that
Yeah.
time. But it
Yeah,
is
no.
wild. It's crazy. So
Yeah, I wasn't sitting in quarantine during 2020 being like, all right, I'm making the Olympic team next year.
Well,
Like,
especially with the 5K, 10K when you're like at that age, so you're 22 at that time.
yeah.
I mean, you had a crazy rise in college, which I don't even think we have enough time to talk about either.
Yeah.
Like just your high school to
Yeah.
like NCAA champion in the 5K.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy in itself. But then, yeah, coming out of like leaving college during COVID, a lot of uncertainty. You're 22, and it's like the 5K, 10K is looked at as compared to shorter stuff. It's like, you might take a lot more time to make that progression, make that jump, especially when the people that you're racing against, like the US women in those events, like the US women in every event, they're like the best in the world.
Yeah.
Like they're right up there pretty much. And I don't think I find it very interesting when someone jumps into the 10K straight away as well, because that's pretty daunting to me. But was that something that excited you?
Not necessarily. I don't think I necessarily love racing the 10K. Like, I definitely enjoy racing the 5K more, just because the 10K is like, you have an otherworldly experience every time you do it.
you definitely do.
Well, okay, so we had a lot of questions about your, like, how you get into a mental state for a race, and one person in particular put it as, how do you get into your post-race hospital visit mindset for races?
It's a great question.
That is a good question. I don't think I think about it like, I'm not like, I'm going to the hospital.
You didn't plan on going to the hospital?
I'm not like,
Did you
for
think
example,
with like a couple of laps to go though, you were like, I'm gonna make the Olympics, but I'm probably gonna end up in hospital.
Yeah, I was definitely like, I'm either gonna like make the team or straight up fall over during this race and not finish and be unconscious.
Yeah.
But
The emotional roller coaster of watching that, like, I was,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're way worse off than me, but I was an emotional wreck because I remember I was standing with your parents, with the team, and with your boyfriend Ben, and we see you hit the rail with 200 to go.
Yeah.
And it looks like you were almost going down, and everyone was just like, it's like watching a horror movie. Everyone was freaking out. And just, like, that meant, I think Dathan is extremely proud that you can go to that place because not many athletes can put themselves in that position. So it is pretty admirable, but it was quite funny to see that from you and then see Joe in Boston kind of get into the similar state. So we're definitely getting
somehow we just grind.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that we have mind-numbing workouts.
Well, I mean, I think particularly because when the team started, you were one of 4 women, but 3 of them were steeplers. So you're lining up training a little bit, but you're mostly doing a lot of stuff on your own, and particularly long stuff on your own is really brutal.
Yeah.
So I imagine that mentally has made you extremely strong.
Yeah, I think so.
Hoping to answer the question, but I don't know how to answer it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's just kind of, we train so hard, like a lot, especially with the longer stuff, that it's just, I don't think about it much. I just go and do it. But
yeah. So if you this is like such a cliched question, which I think like we all know the answer kind of, but because we see it every week. But if someone is to ask you like, how have you improved so much across those 2 years, and that's looking at not just training, like what you can do in training is crazy, but that's like even more so in races, you know, like how have you improved so much in that time period?
I think it's honestly just like consistency. Like I haven't been injured since, well, long-term, I guess, injured since literally like 6 months into training here.
I think you fractured
January 2021.
And then you ran 15:10 after dealing with the stress fracture.
4 weeks after.
Because it was the same time Jordy broke his back.
It was a stress reaction, so it was like I only spent just over a week without running.
You were on the lever with with Carlos
in the Scottsdale backyard.
watching Naruto.
Yeah, it was a good time. But yeah, I haven't really been like long-term injured, so just like compiling week after week of training, and now I'm running like, 15 miles a week, probably more than I was in college. So just like years and years of getting better, because I didn't really get better overnight at any point. So
yeah, it is not unfortunately, it is a pretty basic formula.
Yeah,
I think all of us know. Like, it's no secret. I mean, being able to do it is the secret. But it's no secret that if you look at a team and you say go on like the athletes' Stravas or whatever, and you look at how many miles they're able to run in the year or how consistent like their graph of weekly training is, that generally aligns pretty well with how well they end up performing. I've heard, I mean, that's the big thing that Olaf was saying, but I've heard Dathan say before, I think everyone knows it's like consistency equals like success most of the time. And you've really just been able to build it up, and now you're at the point where you're doing these crazy workouts, but I mean, for you, they're not actually crazy workouts. They're crazy workouts relatively, but for you, they're just workouts.
It just feels the same. I'm just faster now.
Yeah, which is how they want to. That's how you want it to feel. And taking that to races, now it's like you're doing crazy races, but to you, they're just races. And now those races for you are at the level where it's like, well, if I race to my potential today, I could break the American record. How's that kind of mindset now? Is that I guess as runners, when you go into a race, you always have a certain goal in mind, whether it's say like breaking 3:50 in the mile. For you, it just makes sense. Now you're at the level where it's like, that's kind of like what inspires you, I imagine. Yeah,
I think so. And I think like this winter, kind of the point of going after the records was to be like, give me confidence that I can race fast, because everyone else who's being the best in the world right now can race really fast. So it's a matter of being like, okay, I'm really fit. Now I just need to, try to translate that and perform in championship races. So I think that was kind of the point to breaking records this winter. Yeah, I think a lot of people did that really well on the team, like you and Joe, for example, where the winter is like putting down that foundation to set you up for the rest of the year. And that kind of leads nicely into a question that, like, what is then your goals for this season? I mean, obviously we're looking at Budapest, kind of the whole team, like really has quite good chances to all get there. But I mean, putting myself in the races, I don't know if it's going to be 5K or 10K. We kind of have to decide on that. But yeah, putting myself in the race, obviously world medals, Olympic medals are kind of the goal for all of us. And I think this year for me, it's going to be, I've never been there with a lap to go, so I want to be there. And then put myself in a good spot for also Paris. So,
So what is your favorite event?
I don't know. I guess I would say 5K. Honestly, maybe the 3K, because it's like 5K is long enough that it really starts to hurt for a long time, whereas 3K, it's just like, I can go for 8.5 minutes.
This is a thing though, because you broke the American record in the 3K, and then you go and break the American record in the 10K. What does that tell me? It tells me the 5K is probably going to be a good pick for you, right? Like, because you can run a really good 3K, and you can also hold it with the best for a 10K. 5K, like, there is obviously, it's a different event.
Yeah.
But if it's your favorite event, and I'm really interested to see you run a 5K this season. I think that is going to be an event that, particularly with like you said, with a lap to go in a 5K, like a lot can happen. And I believe that like that's a race where you would be extremely competitive in. As a teammate looking in, I'm really interested to see that. That's my 2 cents with it. I'm sure the boys probably agree.
Do you feel like you're going to be able to have a decent enough say in it? We know how biased Ritz is.
I was going to say, Ritz does have...
You say we need to decide. What is it like?
Dathan, he's like, yeah, well, I'm racing, my only race I'm doing before US champs is the Paris Diamond League 5K. So,
okay.
Well, that's provided I get in. But
if you don't get in, there's a serious problem with our sport. There's a serious problem with our sport.
But I'm planning on doing that, so I think we're kind of going to decide like after that. So
okay.
Is this a soft launch of a record attempt, or is that not?
He does. I think he does have big goals for me in that 5K.
What is the 5K women's record? Just to
14:23. Shelby has it.
Shout out.
Shout out Shelby. She hasn't been mentioned in the pod for a while. Shout out Shelby. So 14:23. Do you know if there's any competitors that are going to be in it that can get to that sort of time? Because it is obviously very quick.
Yeah, I mean it really depends. Like there's probably going to be good people. It just half the time last year we were racing a 3K and they'd choose a pacer at 8:18 pace and then no one goes with it.
Yeah.
So like
they might have the pacing lights too, which would be helpful in the 5K. Hopefully it's not as hot as it was for
Joe.
It's normally Paris is known for being like pretty good conditions. So
that was like a heat wave, right?
Yeah,
that
was like 97 degrees.
Yeah.
Was that the same? It's June 9th this year. Is that the same time?
Seems like a week earlier.
Yeah,
last year it was like maybe the 18th or something. Okay. But it was like the hottest day in June in history or something.
Yikes.
I think
hopefully not.
I think if you like hype it up as an American record, maybe they would even kind of make the race around you a bit more. I don't know how this works.
Not let you in even more.
It depends. Go either way. Yeah.
It depends who who they really care about. But you would think that for any for any event at the Diamond League, if it's been hyped up as an American record, that would bring some eyeballs.
Particularly after your performances in winter, you'd expect them to be excited. Like, okay, like that's a good story, a good push for getting people out there to buy tickets.
I feel like it's a good timeline too for people just in general to race because it's still 2 months until
I'm sure you'll get some Americans in there too, which would be great for you competitive wise, just to see where you guys are at leading into the championships.
Yeah.
In Eugene.
Back to Eugene.
Well, so you don't know yet if you'll is a double a potential, because the last 2 years you've kind of sacrificed the 5K, right, to go all in on the 10K.
Yeah, I don't see me doubling this year. I don't, like, Dathan has at some point referenced like, oh, maybe in Paris, but like I don't know if I feel ready to race 20K really hard.
This is the one thing
I think you can do it.
I want to say with it. If you were in medal contention for a 5K and a 10K, would you double or would you focus on one to try and solidify the medal? Like, that's a question for everyone, because like I would personally solidify one race because I would trust my instincts to be able to hopefully execute in the day. But when you can medal on both of them, does that give you the incentive of, oh, if I can medal on both potentially, then I should just do both? But
I don't know what race you would want to be first though.
Well, that's a good question.
You would want your
10K.
You would want like your better one to be first, and then you just have the other one there as well.
Yeah.
Generally.
Just in case.
In Budapest.
Just in case, just in the back pocket.
The women's 5K is first, right, in Budapest?
Well, but
So I think
at
it's the
U.S.
opposite.
champs, the 10K is
Yeah.
first.
It doesn't
so I
match?
don't know.
That's weird. That's weird.
Classic USA TF.
Mm.
See, my answer to your question though is, like from what I've seen historically, is if you're good enough to medal in the 5K or the 10K or both, you're probably just good enough to double.
Mm.
And I've seen so many people who, like, remember like Mo Ahmed, for example? He's had a couple of times where he's had the 10K first and something is like, for some reason, he hasn't raced up to his potential. And then he'll like
Yeah.
not have the best race in the 10K, and then he'll come back and he'll crush the 5K. I'll look at like Grant Fisher even last year. Like he had a great race in the 10K, and then he probably should have medaled in the 5K
this is the thing,
after
though.
it.
Yeah.
But
What-
do you think he
that-
would have medaled
yeah.
if he didn't run the 10K?
Exactly.
No, see,
That's
I don't
my
think it
counter.
matters. I
You don't
think
think
so. What I'm trying to say is, I think if you're that good, it doesn't take that much away from you, and the adrenaline just gets you through
See,
it.
my argument was with the Grant Fisher thing because I
He
feel like
looked
if he did,
his last 150, he like
That's because you got tripped over.
oh, he did get tripped.
Yeah.
That's because you got tripped over.
I really thought he
tripped
was
him?
gonna medal. Yeah, if he hadn't gotten
oh,
tripped.
okay.
we didn't talk about
we
that.
get that.
I think
I'm
he looked
confirmed.
great in the 5K.
He did look
Yeah.
great in the 5K, but that to me tells me that if he didn't run the 10K and he
Kinda.
had fresh legs, could he have gone with Jakob?
Maybe.
Or
Because
they-
Jakob ran 1500s before too. He
Yeah.
doubled.
He
So
looked great.
maybe they both got really fit from
Yeah.
the
But
previous
also, you
race.
have to sacrifice Jakob's water drops because Jakob had to get water twice.
Factor that in.
Factor that in as well.
I've just seen so many
Olaf
people
told him
do
to.
that.
Yeah.
double.
Calories.
Olaf said you must hydrate during this race.
I don't know. I just seen so many people do that double well, where they like look good. I think when people do that double and they're like in like their mid pack, then they struggle with the double. But if you're good enough to be medal contender, I think a lot of people do it really
So I
successfully.
think that's fair enough way of looking at it. If you're already at the top, like I think it doesn't take as much out of you.
So
If you've been doing triple thresholds, you'll.
Yeah.
There
Yared
you go.
Naguse is
Yeah,
going for
Naguse is going for the
5K, 10K.
He's actually not doing the double. He's doing the triple. He's doing the 15, 5K, 10K.
Yeah.
Rich hasn't released that statement yet, but we're just letting you guys know now.
Didn't Rupp do the marathon 10K double in?
Yeah.
Was that in
And he
Rio?
medaled.
Was
in-
it Rio?
He medaled
The
in the marathon.
marathon.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
it
that's pretty
Rio?
cool. Yeah. Mm,
Must have been.
yeah.
'Cause
was
wasn't.
Rio.
It
It
wasn't
was
Tokyo.
Rio. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
real.
And then London.
Because London,
medaled
he
in
was
the
silver.
10K.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did probably the 5K, 10K double there.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. So yeah, you're doing the double,
TBD.
Alicia. It's confirmed. If you keep running as well as you're running,
It's
It's
just inevitable.
Yeah.
You haven't had to run a single prelim round since turning professional
Seriously, yeah. Not
Isn't
since
that crazy?
college.
because
I gotta learn how to run prelims.
you've
I
run
guess.
10Ks and then World Indoors you didn't have one.
Oh yeah,
Like the
that was
women-
weird. The
women
women
didn't have
just
one.
went all out and had a street fight
Yeah.
just out on the track.
yeah,
Too
Fun
many
fact.
too many people out on lane 1.
I don't think that's gonna pose an issue for Alicia. I don't know. I'm excited to see you run the 5K, and a lot of that comes from watching you race at the Lausanne 3K.
Mm,
I don't know
yeah.
why I said it like that. Lausanne
Lausanne.
3K, where you, for anyone who didn't watch it, she took the best 5K runners to the line and beat
Mm.
most of them, except for who was it?
Francine.
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 But also, Francine pulled a hammy and didn't run after that. So, like, Alicia kind of pushed her to the point where she was out of commission. She didn't run after that. She, I think she hurt it. Is it hamstring?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Put it on the
Because
line.
she
It was
didn't
pretty-
go back to the diving.
I would
final,
recommend
yeah.
if anybody's got some time to spend, watch that 3K. It was a pretty impressive.
Because
feat.
you were like leading. So
Yeah.
you've one of the things that's been really, really impressive about you has been your front running ability, and you've done it in other races against not as good fields, and then in the
Mhm.
3K you're against. I'm not like, it's not hyperbole when I say the best runners in the world, Stefan Hassan,
Yeah.
etc. And you're in the lead, and I think even like you could tell the commentators, they were kind of looking at you
They
as
weren't
like,
sure if it was like
yeah.
real.
they're like yeah, like even when you were in the last lap, they're like, yeah, like all these runners are gonna pass her.
They weren't even filming it. They were like filming the second pack.
And like you've
That was ridiculous.
gone to the front pretty early, and then you just
Yeah.
run away, and you just keep it going. Like you keep running away, and then everyone's just dropping off, and it's like, I think for people watching, you're like, whoa, what is actually
Yeah.
happening in front of our eyes right now? Like, is she really running away? But like, yeah, it was actually happening, and then
I was thinking the same thing. I was like trying to see the scoreboard because I was like, I don't even know who's behind.
Where
like,
is everyone?
What's happening?
and like you guys ran like quick there, and I think
Yeah.
so. just based on like watching you do that in a 3K race, I'm like, well, put her in that Worlds or Olympics 5K. Let's see what happens. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So if I was your coach, 5K. If the 5K is first, 5K, 10K double all day. But I guess we'll see. We'll see how the cards fall.
Yeah.
But we had some very good Q&A, as I mentioned, and one of them, which I don't know if you'll have an answer to this, to be honest, but they wanted to know, who's your Jingy? So Ollie has a special relationship with Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Love, hate, you could say.
Hey, there's no hate. There's all love there, right? It's all, I'm guessing maybe Jingy hates me. I don't know.
You're racing. I don't know if it's because you run the 10K and stuff, or like you don't race each other as much. Yours is a lot more fluid, kind of. You don't have a mainstay. Like
I don't really have someone that I like race every single time.
Yeah. However, you did recently race someone. Eyelash McGuckins. Some people wanted to know. I think a lot of people know how that race played out. It was very interesting. People wanted to know if you were happy about Ollie's like.
Well,
you can speak about it, Alicia. If you're upset about it,
fighting on your behalf.
You know that I can take it.
Ollie is a great teammate. He's always going to speak up. He's always going to speak up for our fellow OAC teammates. I don't know. I think that when Ollie commented that, he wasn't like targeting her. It was more like he wanted to give me credit like on the World Athletics page.
This is the issue. I don't know if you noticed it beforehand, but when we were looking at the post, we were in the gym, and it was only World Athletics. I didn't realize it was a collaboration.
Yeah.
So that's why I think she got upset, is because it was a collaboration, but World Athletics posted it, so that's why I thought it was free.
I wonder if World Athletics posted it, saw your comment, and then invited her as a collaborator. Honestly, they're like, oh, this will be funny. Let's collaborate.
Good move by World Athletics. But since we mentioned on the pod, my phone notifications keep coming up. People keep liking my comment. It's like at 400 likes right now. It's really. I need to mute it. It's getting annoying.
Yeah. No, that was good. I don't know. People kind of made like a really big deal out of that. Like we even got a comment recently tagged like both of us about because she, ran super fast at the Berlin half. Yeah. But it was just funny. I was like, I've kind of moved past it.
I think she has too. Like I don't think she gives a shit, to be honest. She's got more important fish to fry.
The internet,
but yeah. I mean, hopefully that just says that. Like, I mean, we went to college together. Like, when am I not going to say anything?
Yeah.
So it's the same with anybody. If Morgan was in that situation, or George, I'm definitely going to be calling for my teammates.
I feel like there'll be some rematches with her. Was she in the World Final?
Oh yeah,
was
probably.
she in the World 10K last year?
She ran quite well. I think ran like some 30 teens.
That is good.
Who do you think is? I guess that's a really hard question. I was about to ask you, but like in the 10K, who do you think is the one? I mean. There is one lady out there, the Ethiopian lady, G'day, that had that unfortunate mishap at World Cross. Yeah. That was hard to watch when she fell. But
still,
other than that, like, are there any other, there's a lot of athletes there, but anyone that you look to be like, I need to like be with this person, compete and try and beat them?
Well, I mean, Beatrice Chibet, I believe, is who won the race at World Cross. Like, she's crazy because couple years ago I was like running with her, running 1440 some at Diamond League races, and now she's just reached another level, which I think is cool. But
so you'd be right there with her.
Yeah.
Remember me? I'm back. You ain't going nowhere.
But I mean, I'm interested to see if like Helen comes to run the 10K.
Yeah. Because she can do what she wants. Helen's be like, I'm running the 10K. Jason's like, okay.
Yeah.
I think she's like mentally done with the track, but I think if she wanted to, she could just
come back.
She's crazy. I mean, I ran 4x2 mile yesterday, and she ran 5x2 mile. Did everything that I did while getting drinks, and then did another rep of 2 miles. So
yeah, it's only been like 2 weeks, but how has the Helen O'Beary training partner?
She's good.
She's pretty good at running.
No, it's been good because like Dathan said she couldn't go in front of me in the fartlek at all on Thursday. No.
Yeah.
Thursday. And so she was just right on my heels, and it's kind of terrifying when Helen O'Beary is.
That's what Joe said. She runs like right on. She ran right on his heels that whole long run.
It's
She also has like a
crazy.
pretty big kind of loping, like her stride is very
Yeah.
like exaggerated when she's right on, but she's tiny.
Yeah.
Like, it is crazy to see, like, because I think of, I mean, you guys are distance runners. I think you guys mean small, and then you put Helen Obiri there, and it's like
she's,
next level.
Tiny, yeah.
It's next level, but
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see what she does, and I think it's going to be really good for like me and Gisette, especially for the longer stuff, to kind of have her to work with and learn from her. So
Have you seen what that looks like after? So obviously Helen's running Boston in
yeah.
2 weeks today. 2 weeks
Something
today.
like
So
No, 3? Isn't it like the 24th or something?
24th would be 3 weeks.
Yeah.
If it is that,
3 weeks today.
I'm not sure.
I thought it was 2.
Maybe
Anyway,
it's some point.
like how your training will line up after a marathon.
Yeah, I would think she's gonna take kind of like a break, but if she ends up doing shorter road races this summer, it would still work out well, I think.
It's weird because I remember, so when she was here last was in her build up to New York, and then I remember like just hearing that she's like taking a big break like after that, and then it hasn't been that long, and since then she's raced like 2 halves, and she's
Yeah.
already raced like another marathon. I feel like she just like won't stop.
She just like runs a 65-minute half just on the weekend, like.
Yeah, like,
She's very, yeah, and that's the one thing with Helen that I even noticed is that she's just competitive,
Yeah.
which is why she's one of the best runners ever.
Yeah.
She's just so competitive, and that's why I think it's interesting, because I think it's going to really compliment Dathan as well, because Dathan like is competitive too and loves to like push that stuff, and he hasn't, obviously he has big plans for you and Joe in the future, leading to the roads after the track, but he hasn't had an athlete yet like that on our team to really like enjoy that process, and it's cool to see him with Helen,
Yeah.
and particularly with Boston coming up. I can tell he's extremely excited,
Yeah.
as we all are.
yeah. Well, it is crazy to think about your. I don't know how much time you spend like worrying about this because it's like so far, like it's in front of you, you know. But do you think, because a lot of questions were about your potential move to the marathon?
Oh.
Do you even like think about that right now? Are you like, all right, I'm gonna do everything I need to do on the track for as many years as I feel good doing that, and then I'll look at it? Because I mean, it's not just us saying that. Like that's literally something Dathan like
Yeah.
thinks about as well.
Yeah,
He's
I
probably thinking
mean,
about it every Tuesday.
Honestly.
Every single
wow,
long
she's
run, he's
ready
like,
for a marathon.
Good God, man, she's ready to go.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like long term. Like that's kind of been the plan the whole time, which is kind of why I really liked Dathan as a coach, because he had a long term plan for me. But yeah, I think I'm just kind of trying to get as good on the track as I can, and then going up. We've kind of talked about like 26 is the first off year, and so then I could like maybe do a half or a full
Dabble.
Just
a little bit.
Toes in the water.
Yeah.
Toes in the water type deal.
And then, see by LA if I'm still on the track or going to the road.
Yeah, I predict a long future still on the track, because it's like you did make the 10K team at such a young age and have such success in the 10K, but then it's been really interesting to see you kind of rediscover the shorter distances in a way, because as I mentioned, that success in the 3K, and then this year you started off with a banger running like crazy mile time. So it's like, I mean, if you're still doing that in the mile, you probably feel no need to
And the
move up.
interesting thing as well, because Dathan did mention about his career that he reckons he went into the marathon too early.
Yeah.
So I bet he's very cautious about, particularly you and Joe,
Yeah.
you're having so much success in the track. And I mean, Joe's running really good 3Ks, really good 5Ks. You're running really good 3Ks and 5Ks. I don't think he's going to feel pressured to make that jump yet. You can enjoy that kind of track career, because I feel like he kind of felt those pressures and went back and forth with the marathon, and it's definitely something he's learned from his career that I don't think he'll chuck you guys in straight away until everyone's.
I'm curious when
completely
Joe's
ready.
going to hit the
Yeah, me
marathon.
too.
I don't know.
It'll be interesting to
I
see.
feel like he's a little more antsy about it than me, but we'll
He's
see.
definitely keen. I think it's probably. We talk about Dathan having it on his mind every Tuesday. I bet you Joe has it on his mind every day, thinking about that. Like Joe is one of those guys that I mean, my prediction for this, Ollie Hall's prediction, is that Joe's going to open up a Chicago Marathon, because he's a Midwest guy.
Yeah.
I feel like the same for you, Midwest girl, cheesehead. If Joe's going to open up, he'll open up in Chicago. And
in what
which
year?
year?
Let's get this prediction.
Yeah.
Let's get this prediction down.
My prediction for it will be 2025 to 26, I reckon, after Paris. I reckon that will be those 2 years. I reckon Dathan will be like, okay, do you want to do this? And Joe's going to be either yes or no. And
Do you
then-
think, though, there's any chance he goes for the Olympic trials? Marathon.
For 24.
Yeah.
People have been asking
He
about that.
obviously wouldn't be able to run a full
10 months?
Yeah. He obviously
Yes,
wouldn't
he'd
be
have
able
to
to
run
run
a
a full.
half.
He would run a half qualifier.
Yeah, and then run the trials.
I can see, like, honestly, with the level he's training is at, it wouldn't take that much away
No.
from what he would do anyway.
Yeah.
People have been tweeting about it too.
Oh,
About Joe.
really?
Yeah, and you as well. Just about like, when is the marathon debut happening? Like people more antsy
They
than
say
Dathan
that
about
on
it.
Strava, like,
Yeah.
because we've been doing like lactate testing
Yeah.
and like VO2.
Yeah, all
whatever
I've coming in, they're
testing.
probably seeing all these signs of like, they're going to the marathon, they're going to the marathon.
Olympic trials debut is actually pretty sick.
That is-
Yeah.
Is that what Galen did?
Molly
Molly did
Seidel
it.
did that.
But I'm not sure about
I don't know
Galen.
about
Maybe.
Galen.
I'm not sure about him, but
I
no,
might have
I'm
made. I thought his
Yeah, I
one in
don't know.
LA was his debut when he won the trials.
honestly not sure.
That could be.
I'm
But-
making this up,
But it's like it's not like it sounds crazy because it's the marathon, but it isn't that far fetched yet. Yeah, think about like why not do a half in the? I guess it'd have to be in the fall because the trials are like February or
Yeah.
Mm.
early. So you'd have to do it as early as possible, coming off like your track season fitness. Like if things are going well, and then just based on how that half goes, just see what you're gonna do because yeah, you and Joe are both like the main 5K 10K people, but still you guys are actually pretty different athletes, I would say. Like
Yeah.
we've done a bit of testing, and I mean you could tell this just by if you were looking at your training on a week-to-week basis. Like Joe really thrives at stuff around threshold pace, I would say. Like more, I would say you see Joe like he really gets off to stuff which is probably more similar to his half marathon and marathon paces.
Yeah.
Whereas not that you don't crush that stuff, but then I would say like you like seem like, I mean, I'm kind of talking my ass because Joe is also like just his 5K PB has gone down so much as well. But for you, it's like
Yeah.
VO2 max, like 5K is like, that's
I've
where you
definitely
really
done
thrive.
a lot more shorter stuff, particularly in the past year or two with like Sage, Cinta, and Gisette. So I feel like I've kind of, especially this winter, like I feel like I was doing so much mile type stuff, and then I was like, hey, I'm gonna run a 10K.
Well, Joe got really excited about his 26.2 that he ran with us.
Oh yeah.
In the 200. So, you know, he's getting there.
I mean, Joe's
He's
not
just-
slow. Like, he
Yeah.
He's not
won. He
slow at all.
won a tactical.
Wasn't he
10K.
also like a miler in college?
He was
Did he
fine.
never run a
he ran
10K?
the 401, you're right. He ran the 401
He did,
at the
yeah.
home meet.
He did run.
Yeah.
He
He
did go for
He
it
was number one on the NCAA
He
leaderboard
was.
for the mile.
with the fat conversion.
With that
Yeah.
fat conversion.
I remember that. I seen that. I mean, like, what's going
His
on?
next race is a mile. So
Oh yeah.
He's doing the Penn Relays mile
yeah.
Yeah.
race announcement.
And is
Yeah, sorry, Joe.
wait, who's running the mile at Penn from our team? Is it just Joe?
Mario?
You guys aren't? No.
I'm
George.
not. You're running as well?
And Mario.
Why is
heard-
Mario doing it?
Mario's doing 800 at LA, I think.
Mhm.
Interesting.
But I heard
This is
that
spoiling
they're
all
taking
these
it out at
races.
151, George.
He's pacing it. Are you pacing it? Always pacing. Always pacing.
No, I'm not. I'm not involved. I'm not involved.
Always pacing.
I'm doing some.
I've seen you do that and then end up in a trash can.
Yeah, but I ran quick.
It was worth it.
So-
It was worth it.
It was worth it.
Hey, I've done it both ways, bro.
It's
Done it
true.
both ways.
It's true.
Which way is easier? It's definitely the latter. Yeah. What about you, Gus? What are you running?
It's just sitting there with this top
Can we get a Gus update? Because he's
yeah.
been absent for
Gus has been
2 weeks
absent.
now.
So Gus is going through a bit of a teenage phase at the moment.
We've been saying that for a while.
Yeah, but this is getting worse because he's been hopping into my bed when I leave for practice, and he knows he's not allowed in my bed without permission.
Without permission. What does that look like?
So what happens is my bed's a platform bed, and his head will like pop up from behind the bed, and I look at him and I'll just go okay, and he can jump on the bed and snuggle with me. This is in the mornings, like when I'm like kind of dozing.
Bert
But-
does the same thing.
yeah,
He waits
yeah.
and I tap the bed.
Yeah, there you go. So, but he now feels that like he's gonna Ollie's gonna be gone for a few hours. I'm gonna go up and sleep in his bed. So I'll come in and Morgan's not back. Maybe Morgan's gone for a ride. Or
Can
doing
I just say, I walked past your room and I saw Gus in your bed and I was like, oh, Ollie's going to be mad about that.
Yeah.
And actually, I walked-
yeah, that's exactly what happened. So I'm looking for him. I'm like, where is he? And like Morgan's out for his ride, and I'm like, I don't know where Gus is. And I went upstairs and he's in his bed and he knows. He puts his head down and he's like, huh? And I'm like, Gus, get out. And then he just slowly makes his way out. But Gus update, he's doing well. He actually isn't too. He's actually pretty good with people now. And with dogs, he had a little stint where he didn't want to hang out with anyone.
Uh-oh.
But he's doing good now. He's actually very, very excited. We're going to do a time trial in the
He
next 2
hasn't,
weeks.
he hasn't been training very much compared to when Jenna was.
Yeah, when
was
Jenna was doing. So
getting
he's
better.
going to do a time trial, but the time trial is pretty much just a 100-meter sprint.
Oh.
Like that.
And I'm going to be holding one of his favorite toys, and we're going to sprint as fast as we can, see how fast he can go.
He's very quick, I think.
Yeah, but he's excited for that. He's also feeling a bit of neglect from not hanging out with Morgan as much. I think he's a bit upset
Sorry,
about
guys. Sorry, guys.
it. And I
What are
also
you
saw
talking
him,
about? I was throwing rocks with him 2 days
dude.
ago.
I also
I was throwing rocks with him.
I
actually
think you
yeah.
should start a Strava, but just for Gus.
Gus
So
is strong.
his wrist is definitely big enough to put. So I'm looking at getting
Kids
another
watch.
watch.
Oh
You
yeah,
must
could
have
do that?
another watch somewhere.
I don't have
lying around.
another GPS watch. It's the only GPS watch. So I'm thinking
Yeah,
maybe
Brain Blast. You make a brand of watches, but it's dog collars. Does
Wow.
that probably exists?
coffee
to
coffee
be
club
fair.
coffee club dog
That
watch.
probably exists.
Probably.
Imagine Bert with that. He'd
Do you
probably
think
run
you could put a
110
heart rate
miles
monitor on
week.
him?
Huh?
Do you think you could take his lactic? Just prick his ear.
He just goes for a 45-minute walk. His lactate is 1.3.
Yeah, he walks up the stairs. His lactate
It's
is
10.
freaking sky high.
Yeah. But he's doing well. Gus is doing good. He's very, very cuddly, very affectionate. He's been scratching me a lot too. You do that paw thing.
Oh,
He wants
yeah.
attention. Does Bert do that?
Yeah.
He's an aggressive lover.
Goes like this.
Kind of related. Had a question. If you were to do a cage match, Gus versus Bert, say you ran it 10 times, how many of those times is Bert winning? And for context, Bert is Alicia and Ben's dog, and also probably weighs about 1/4 of Gus's.
Yeah, he's like a little under 30 pounds. So
Yeah, Gus is 66 pounds at the moment.
yeah.
Double bubble.
Well, here's the thing. Like, Bert can evade Gus quite easily, but at the same time, like, what's Bert gonna do to Gus? You
This is-
know,
this is
like,
the
He
thing.
could tire him out.
He could tire him out. However, if Bert makes a mistake and Gus sits on him, it's game
yeah,
over.
yeah.
You know what I actually just realized though? So this is kind of revealing a little bit too much about Gus, but
Gus, are you okay with this?
Permission granted?
He winked.
for Bert is the only dog that I've seen Gus let Bert like mount him before.
Yeah.
So,
So Gus.
you could see some interesting tactics
This
come
is
into play
Gus's
here.
personal life, but I
True.
think Gus wanted to be boyfriends with Bert.
Yeah.
But I think Bert was just taking advantage of Gus, and I think Gus realized that a little bit. But
Because
Gus,
Bert's really friendly, whereas
Yeah.
Gus is a lot more particular.
he's very
Yeah.
particular. Gus doesn't do that. Let anybody do that. Like,
Does anyone
he
mount him?
doesn't let anyone mount him. Like I think
Bert
when he was
only.
with Joe and Sage, their puppies,
yeah.
Tucker and Minnie, they had like a bit of a riff,
Yeah.
particularly with Tucker. And Minnie as well, like he would try and hunt Minnie. Minnie wouldn't have any bar of it. Whereas
Yeah.
with Bert, I remember walking downstairs one time in the old Truman place, and Bert's just humping Gus's head, and Gus is just not caring.
Just let it happen.
And it was like walking in on somebody.
I'm like
doing
your child like masturbating or
You're
something.
walking in on someone, you're like, oh, sorry, I shouldn't have seen that, and then you like walk away because they both look at you like. Do the head
Gus
turn.
wanted to be exclusive with Bert though.
Yeah, I think Gus wanted to. I think
Yeah.
Gus saw Bert at his quote unquote end game, but Bert didn't see the same way. So
Yeah.
that's okay.
They,
They're still
they've got
friends.
to do some more playing, I think. Like, Bert just they've got to get in on like a tug of war kind of thing, because Bert likes to chase, but Gus just can't really do that.
Well,
with him.
I think Bert's one of Bert's best friends is a cat.
Yeah, Gimli.
It's Gimli, which is Zach
That's-
Snyder, who's
yeah.
a college teammate of ours.
Yeah,
It's a cat. They're close friends.
yeah.
Because Gus and Gimli lived together, but they were
Yeah.
close friends.
They
They-
were sometimes.
They used to play a little bit. Snyder
Took a while.
denies that they were ever friends, but I believe they were.
Do you
friends.
remember sometimes Gimli would be climbing all over Gus? When
Really?
Gus would be like just on like pass on the couch, and Gimli would start climbing on top of
Yeah.
him. That was pretty cute. So yeah, that's a nice little update. And but yeah, I think Gus would dominate. Well, I think Gus would dominate, but if he was trying to,
Yeah.
but he might let Bert dominate him. You never know. So there's only one way to find out. Let's do a cage match.
Cage
We'll be on our
match.
Instagram
Gus.
live.
Actually, people have gotten in a lot of trouble for that before, so we probably shouldn't do that. Illegal dog fighting. So we're not going to do that. Let's scratch that. Bleep that from the podcast.
And that's a weekly Coffee Club podcast bleep.
And we need a Men in Black like memory forgetter thingy where we just go beep.
Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't say that.
We should do a segment like that. Just we say something like that and we got record that's the segment of it. Yeah, just bleep that. Don't remember it.
But another fun question. Well, for people that don't know, Alicia has a special relationship with food, being a dietitian.
Went to school for dietetics. Not a dietitian.
Not being a dietitian.
But
we did have questions about if that is something that you like still see in your future.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't really have plans, but I hope to be running for quite a while, and I think by the end of my so I went to school for dietetics. You could take an internship and then sit for an exam to be a registered dietitian. So I'm not, legally allowed to
Give advice.
Yeah.
Just illegally.
Just illegally.
Just on the side.
Advice.
She's been giving advice to the team for the past 3 years, so technically.
And so,
Lock her up.
Lock her
yeah.
up.
I decided to obviously run instead of doing a year-long internship and stuff. But I don't know, like by the end of my schooling, a lot of it was like clinical stuff, like, write a tube feeding formula. And I was just like so in on running at that point where I was just like,
exact same thing
I don't
happened
know,
to me.
man.
Like literally, I don't know if this happened to you too as well, but because I was doing finance, which is a pretty not quite as specific, but it's still a major where a lot of people go to get the same job from that major. So everyone's doing like internships and stuff. Yeah. And everyone's like talking about their internships. Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't care about any of that shit. Like, I'm checked out.
Yeah. So I would say like in my normal life, obviously like I, know how to fuel well and stuff like that. But honestly, I got a business management certificate and I use that far more than I use my dietetics degree.
That makes sense.
How many dietetics are there are required in Amory, Wisconsin? Big market for dietetics, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I did an internship after freshman year with a dietitian there.
In Amory?
Yeah.
What is Amory? That's a real town?
Yeah.
Yeah? What goes
Jordy's like trying to figure out if it's actually like a real place.
What goes on in Amory, Wisconsin?
Small town, we sing in choir and do jazz
cool.
band.
You play
basketball.
You play a lot of basketball. I've seen
I
the
play
photos.
basketball.
How many people?
There's like 3,000 people, I think.
I've seen the photos of young Alicia playing basketball with the glasses hanging off the nose.
I was really something.
Yeah.
I was like a really gangly child.
And you grew into it. The big like small town Wisconsin question is how many bars are there in Amory?
Oh, probably quite a few. I mean, I've never frequented the bars in Amory, but like there's like multiple on Main Street. That's like if it's Fall Fest or whatever, people are going to.
Do they just serve PBRs?
Probably.
When Alicia gets the double gold, she'll be doing a tour around Amory. Amory bars.
So she'll have to drink a PBR in every single bar.
You can book tickets for details at coffeeclubpod.com when she gets the double gold.
There. Yeah.
So this is like, I mean, you don't have to be a dietitian or dietetics major to answer this question, but what's your favorite food?
Okay, right now, popcorners. Have you guys had popcorners?
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 Yeah. They're like...
What are you talking about?
I thought you were going to say Uncrustables.
Okay, those are good too. But it's like they're chips, basically. But it's like triangle popcorn chips.
Those are actually pretty
like
good.
Like tortilla chip
I tried
them. But they're made out of like squashed popcorn.
And I always buy the white cheddar. Bert loves it. I love it. Ben loves it.
That's a prerequisite.
That's a win. That's a win.
I love popcorn. Like I used to have, my mummy would pack me a popcorn in my lunch every day, but I still haven't gotten around all these different flavors of popcorn. I think, is that an American thing? Would you guys see that?
I think like the cheese ones.
Yeah.
That's a big American. Cheese on popcorn.
I like cheese on popcorn.
I only like popcorn at the movies.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
With a lot of butter.
A lot of butter, a lot of salt, yeah.
Yeah, I only like, if I'm going to the movies, I get popcorn. I also like the super like caramel, the caramel.
Caramel corn?
Kettle
corn?
Kettle.
Yeah,
that's
you
not
get from the
caramel.
Easter show at Sydney.
Yeah.
It's like rock hard because it's mostly sugar.
It's just mostly sugar. That shit's good, man.
Wait, what's your guys' favorite foods right now?
My favorite food? Celery.
What?
It just goes with everything. You can have it in stews, you can have it in
peanut butter.
You can put it in ranch.
Put it on toast.
Put it on toast. You can put it in cereal. Put it in cereal. Captain Crunch with a bit of celery.
Some extra crunch.
With extra crunch there. Captain Crunch with some crunch.
George hates celery. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, that was a little joke.
It became clear recently when we were talking about a stew.
My favorite food right now is soup dumplings from Mason's Dumplings.
Those are good.
Love me some soup dumplings.
Right now, I'm gonna say hot cross buns. Just because Easter's next week. And Jenna made some.
Mm-hmm. That
Very
makes
good.
sense. I need to get some of those. It's been a long time. I miss having them back home.
Yeah, go to Vegas Delight and just get the you can get the
Yeah.
chocolate ones. Oof.
Yum.
Homemade all the way. None of these bought hot cross buns, guys. Come on.
I mean, my parents never made hot cross buns. Like they just didn't have time.
Sorry, we didn't
so-
grow up in a loving household.
Hey, my household was loving. I'm just saying that my mum and my dad didn't make hot cross buns. They were too busy out there just killing it,
Just grinding.
crushing it,
Just going to
snapping
the bakery.
necks and cashing checks. You know,
Going to the bakery.
going to Vegas Delight and grabbing some hot cross buns after a swim
Yeah.
in the ocean. Nothing better.
Sounds pretty good.
Well, my favorite food is probably pizza still.
Pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Can do
okay.
a lot of things with that.
Yeah.
My favorite pizza place is Barchetta now, by far, in Boulder. I was worried from coming from the Midwest. I was worried that I wouldn't be finding a good pizza place in Colorado because I feel like I struggled a little bit.
Yeah.
What does coming from the Midwest have to?
Yeah. Well,
I feel like in the Midwest there's a
They got
lot of
good
pizza
cheese.
options. Yeah, good cheese pizzas.
Pizza Bruto is like right around the corner from you guys' house.
We did have
so
good
that was
pizza
good.
in Madison.
Yeah.
This is true.
Maybe that's something. Maybe Madison. Coming from
Yeah,
Madison to Boulder,
Madison-
it was tough because I feel like,
Madison's just like a food place.
dude, you know what I miss from Madison? Like, we're getting to a food thing. We're going down a whole.
Let's
I
just
miss New
reminisce on
Orleans.
Madison.
New Orleans po' boys.
Yeah.
From where we used to live in
Yeah.
Oakland, up the road, dude. That place was so good.
That was our local restaurant.
Spot,
Rice
yeah.
and beans, baby.
Rice
I would
beans.
I would go the rice and beans and add the sausages. That was like my favorite thing
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
it was
so
cheap
simple.
too. It was
simple.
relatively cheap. And yeah, here it's just you don't have that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about that as a question? Boulder versus Madison.
I like that there's more water in Madison.
Yeah.
I say
That's
good.
the thing that I miss.
That's
I miss
same,
sitting by
same
the
as
terrace.
me. Same
Yeah.
as
I
me.
I had a conversation with someone about like what do you miss from college, and I was like, honestly, I miss sitting at the terrace and playing cards,
Yeah.
playing euchre
Yeah.
by the terrace. I miss going through the arboretum, like running through there.
I
miss
do
that.
like the lack of bugs here
I
though.
was about to say
Yeah.
more water.
Yeah,
Means more
you can
bugs.
actually be outside and in the summer.
The
and
scenery in
not just
Madison
get
was
eaten.
sweet, but then when you're driving in, like, I mean, you guys don't drive into Boulder as much as Morgan and I do, but when you're driving into Boulder and you see the flat irons, you're
Yeah.
like, damn, that's pretty
Views
sick.
are pretty sweet.
The flat irons
particularly-
are sweet, except so we're just gonna go back and forth here. Like, how much of the year is Boulder green though? I was noticing
Yeah.
how dead it is most of the year.
It
Whereas
was
Madison,
pretty green.
So brown.
Madison gets luscious.
Yeah.
Boulder
Crazy
gets
green.
lush for like 2 weeks.
It's like
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Like-
And we're always
You're
going.
like, wow, this
I don't
is
even
sweet,
know.
and then you
May
leave
or
for a
June?
race
Yeah.
and come back.
Isn't it crazy how Boulder? I don't know if this is actually true, but Boulder like does sit at kind of like right the tree line because if you go towards like the foothills, right at the foothills is where all the pine trees start,
Oh.
It's really green around
Yeah.
there.
and they actually are nice and green the whole
Yeah.
year.
So I do my doubles. Dathan hates it. I do my doubles from the house up the canyon, and he gets annoyed by that. He goes, "Get the treadmill." Go up the hill, and then just before I get there, though, when you go on that path up there, there's all these apartment buildings and houses around that area, and it's always super green. And I was thinking, if there's a place to live in Boulder where you really want to get a bit of green, it's like right at that spot because you're still gonna get a little bit of green. It's not as dry as like here.
Yeah.
So like Morgan and I are gonna.
You lose
You're
like
gonna
6
live
hours
right
of
in-
sunlight up there though. If you're right below the flat irons, it's dark by like 2 p.m.
See, I'm okay with that purely for the fact that I do like the
It's dark
idea
on
of.
here anyway.
Yeah, true.
On the
I do like the
couch.
idea of the sun coming. Like if I had a lot of like a big windows in like an apartment down there, and I had the light coming through green, I like that. I agree. Like the trees, you know, you get that green
Just
kind
get
of.
a green film on your
Yeah,
window.
you know, you get that little green little.
Kind of. I kind of know you. I mean, I'm imagining it.
Yeah.
I think if the pine trees did come down to Boulder, would be 100 times.
Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah.
Is that what Flagstaff
Maybe
is
we
like?
could start that.
Yes.
That's what Flagstaff is. I feel
That's why
like
it's so bad to run in the wind here because there's no single tree.
terrible.
Hey, Logo's
This
good.
Yeah.
For like quarter mile.
The wind hit it. So we are in the windy season
Yeah.
here in Boulder right now.
Yeah.
I guess it's like windy in the fall and the spring, no? Or like,
Just a change
More
in
so
temperature.
spring,
right?
I think.
More
But
spring
yeah, fall as well.
but literally like 3 days ago, it was like our house was gonna get blown over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gus was howling.
It's crazy.
It was pretty bad.
Got some snow to wind, too hot,
Yeah.
back to wind.
It's supposed to be snowing tomorrow and 75 next Tuesday.
Love that. Love
Love
that.
that for us.
We'll make the most of it. But
It's alright. We're going on training camp to Scottsdale tomorrow, and then we get
back
back
for 3
We
days.
get back next week.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Did you answer?
Yeah, I don't know. I like them. I think that they're pretty similar places to live, like the type of people who live there. Outdoorsy, kind of like, you know.
What's the one thing you miss from Madison that you wish that was here?
I think the terrace.
The terrace, yeah.
Like, I just,
yeah.
you
Me
know,
too. Me
sitting
too.
at the terrace.
It's nice, eh? Yeah.
I can't think
We should just
of-
sit outside and play cards sometime.
Well, that's
maybe.
what I
I
was
don't know.
thinking. Like, because for those who don't know, the terrace it's technically like university like buildings and stuff, but it's very, very public, and it's like it looks so pretty. It's like right on the water, like one of the two big lakes in Madison, and it's just like all these chairs and tables, and then like you can get drinks and food and all that stuff there. And they have a bunch of events there on different nights, like open mic night or like bands performing. But it's just like the spot to go, especially in the summer. Like every evening, like you go there, and it's like the sunsets are beautiful, and everyone's just there hanging out, having a good time. And also, what I like about it is it's like for everyone. Like there's like kids there, there's college kids, and then there's like a ton of adults there just like having a good time.
Yeah.
And that is the thing. Like, it's like, what's the equivalent of that here?
There isn't one. Rosetta, maybe?
Rosetta.
Yeah.
Rosetta.
No, honestly,
Rosetta,
Rosetta, because you got
yeah.
the rooftop and it's nice and it's outside and you got a
Yeah.
decent view. Whereas, like, that was the one thing I miss about the terrace, like going to the terrace and seeing everybody's, like, feeling the energy and the mood of everyone just having a good
Just the
time.
vibes.
Whereas, like, in
Immaculate
Boulder,
vibes.
you can kind of get that at Rosetta, but it's also, like, you're not really out in the area.
It's not as like,
It's like-
it's not as relaxed.
North Boulder
Yeah.
Park's nice.
North Boulder Park is nice.
Like, you could probably, like, a lot of the parks here you can sit in and relax and
Yeah.
stuff, but it's just, yeah, terrace is something that I would definitely love to somehow move it to. We'll just put it in the res. Just put it in the res.
Yeah.
Dude,
That'll
Take a
work, won't
lake.
the res is so funny. It's like, it's just so shit.
What is the res? What is it? Like, I don't know. I just see boats in there and I'm like, what are you doing in the res?
The Boulder Reservoir,
Yeah.
man. It's like, why are there so many boats there? It's like the smallest thing ever.
There's
What
so
are you guys
many boats.
doing?
Like when we run through that loop and there's all
Yeah.
those boats there, I'm like, what are you doing with your boats here? And
Well,
I've never seen them at like,
The water level just changes so much because it's literally just like our drinking water, isn't
yeah.
it?
Is it
Like,
really?
Is
You
that
know what that
I
is?
don't
You
know.
know that is?
I don't know.
that. It's something
Or
to do with,
There's
they
boats
open up
in
the
Europe.
irrigation
people,
things.
Like,
You
it's
can go
mostly
swimming
for
there.
water sports. Like people wakeboard.
There's a beach there.
Yeah, you
Really?
swim there.
Yeah.
I've never
Hasn't
seen
Hasn't it
anybody
been
swim like
closed for
gross.
swimmers
Right.
for like 2
Yeah,
years?
I've never seen anybody swim in the res. I've never seen anybody swim
I
in
don't
the
think
res.
it's nice to swim in, necessarily.
Yeah.
I think that's what people have like wakeboard boats there. And then I'm pretty sure every New Year's Day they do a polar plunge.
That'd be sick.
Cool.
That'd be sick.
Can't wait to
Yeah.
see you just like run past. You see Jordy on a wakeboard.
Jody on the
going
wakeboard.
on the res.
New Year's Day. Jody naked polar plunge. That'd be sick. But yeah, so take that Boulder. Now Boulder is obviously has so many positives, but it doesn't have like that one spot where it's like, I guess actually, the creek. Have you ever been to the
Yeah.
creek? Except the
When
only
they're
issue.
jumping in.
Yeah, but like the only issue with the creek is there's also like a lot of weird stuff that goes down there.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of weird stuff that goes down there. Like not to yeah. I won't say anything more, but
That's another one where you got the Men in Black.
it's just a bit of I don't feel safe there all the time. That's all I'm trying to say. But yeah, I think that's quite a few questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about today before we begin our wrap up?
I don't think so.
Next race?
I kind of
Paris.
next race is Paris. I am pacing Josette. Well, here's another race
Announcement. Race announcement.
for Josette. Pacing her in a sound running 5K. So
Hell yeah.
that's about it.
What are you going for? 30 minutes?
Yeah. No.
No, like you're pacing for 30 minutes and then you just show up.
Yeah, that's probably what Dathan wants.
Yeah.
No.
4,600.
He'll probably tell me like 3 to 4K, and then if I drop out at 3K, he'll be like, "Why'd you drop out so early?"
He's like, alright, we're doing a 6-mile tempo.
Yeah.
When exactly is Penn and then the sound running?
Well, it's
I want to say April 28th.
yeah, because
Okay.
sound running is like
And-
May 6th. So Penn is the week before that.
So
It's only 1 week
it's 27
It's 1
It's 1
week.
week.
Yeah.
It's 27 days after April Fool's.
We're going coast to coast.
Post April Fool's.
There's 27 days post April Fool's. I'm gonna just like
Let's
anything
keep
with the
it
calendar,
yeah.
anything with the racing calendar. I'm like, yeah, that's 3 months from post April Fool's.
But for anyone who is wondering about us, like everyone, those are the 2 meets again in the US calendar that On's like sponsoring. So we're gonna be there. I think all of us are going to both of them.
I think Coffee Club will be there in force at Penn.
We're gonna do a live
Are you
podcast.
guys doing
Well, not
that?
live.
Okay.
We're gonna do a
We're doing
podcast
a
at
quarter podcast at the stadium.
Penn again. I think is our plan. But hopefully we can do some cool interaction stuff as well. Bring Gus out.
Gus is coming.
He's gonna make the.
We need
The
to get somebody to
Trans-America
drive him
trip.
down though. I was talking to Andy Weeding about it. We'll figure it out though. Because
figure
he'll need security. He'll need a 5-star hotel. He'll need some.
Wouldn't it be
per
sick
diem.
if like his security was other dogs?
bigger dogs too, like massive Rottweilers. Well, the thing is, I might put like get one of those. I'm looking at one of those you know those vest things, like the big ones, and I was just gonna have on it Gus, or you could have like special VIP or something on his like vest thing, and he just walks through the
Make
press
sure everyone
area.
knows his name.
I think you just make him mental support animal, or whatever it is, and just walk him through the airport. What are they going to do?
Well, he weighs a lot, so I have to buy an extra seat.
No, you put him under your feet. They wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, Gus fits really well under your feet.
You
I
just
don't-
go between your legs.
I don't get how people do that. To be honest, I would be so scared that my dog is just gonna like take a shit. Like on the
He
plane.
was good when he was a puppy on the plane.
Yeah,
He
he's a little baby.
didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Little guy.
Well, we'll sort that out. We'll get Andy on the case. If you're listening,
Operations
Andy,
manager.
that's our dream. Bring Gus to
Bring
the
Gus to Penn.
But yeah, I think that's it from us today. Episode 80 done and dusted. Man, episode 100 we're coming for you.
It is
Feels
really
very
coming up.
close. Feels
That
very
kind of
close.
is
right now.
not actually that far from now.
20 weeks?
Yeah.
How many weeks? 20 weeks from April Fool's?
20 weeks from April Fool's. You know what the
3.5
crazy thing is? That at that point we would have done it for 100 weeks and we haven't been cancelled yet. How good is that?
Well, we've been a little bit.
We've been close. We've been close.
Close to
A
cancel.
couple of episodes have been
Yeah.
cancelled.
One apology, one episode deleted.
But we're still going, baby. We're still here.
We're
Still here.
But yeah, Alicia, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks guys. It's
It was
fun.
it was lovely. I think people
As if
loved
it's
it.
that different from us just sitting here talking for many
That's
other
exactly
time.
what it is, man. That's exactly what it is. That's
the whole
why
concept.
we've had Joe on 3 times now, and he was talking to me today. He's like, "When can I come on again and just talk shit?" I was like, "You can come on whenever."
Anytime. But
Anytime.
yeah, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you guys all next week.